guys, Dad Dash here, coming to you with a video today. I wanted to talk with you about about a topic that is probably I don't think it's understood as much as it should be. And it's a very important topic and concept and metric that every gig business operator should be understanding. Anyone driving for any of the apps needs to understand this. And you need to understand the effect it can have on your earnings. What am I talking about? What are we going to talk about today? And that is something I call your work rate. Okay? What is your work rate? All right? What exactly is your work rate? What is that? Why is it important? We're going to talk about all that today. We're going to talk about how you can calculate it. And we're going to talk about why I think that is perhaps one of the most important metrics you should be paying attention to. Because once you start understanding that, you'll understand why you really cannot at all ever classify yourself as any type of employee, because it's why gig work is different. It's one of the variables in gig work that are misunderstood. And once you understand it, once you understand how to track it, use it, and make it and bring it to your advantage, it can change the way you work and change the way you earn. So let's get into it. All right, so what is work rate? What am I talking about when I say work rate? Work rate is the difference between the time you're available and the time you're actually working. One of the things you've got to understand as a gig worker, if you're thinking about doing this, is you don't get to necessarily work when you want to work. And what your definition of work is going to become fluid, right away. When you go out, let's say today I want to go out and I'm ready to go out. And today later I will go out and work today, right? So I go out, I'm ready to work. And that doesn't mean I'm going to work. That doesn't mean I'm going to earn money. It's the same thing that if you were a business owner, so you owned a convenience store. So you might open your store, you're sitting there, but no customers are there. So you might not have a customer for 2 hours. Now, you may be doing other things, okay, that are for your business. You might be stocking shelves, you might be doing your books, whatever. But you're not at that particular point serving a customer, working, or generating income for your business. The same is true when you are sitting in your car. You aren't working. Now, the difference between us and, say, if we owned a business or a store is we're not in a brick or mortar place. We can do whatever we want to do, and there's nowhere that we need to be, and we can be anywhere, right? We can go anywhere in our market, sit. We can go shopping and wait for our phone to go off and an order to come. Now, it is only when that order comes, and it is only when we hit accept that we begin working, right? And that is a concept that is so very difficult for every gig worker and gig driver out there to understand. You are not working until you hit accept. And once you're done with that order and you've completed and hit complete, submit your picture, and you get paid by the app, you are now done working. And in that is your work rate. And if you don't go to work right away again, you are now off again, and now you have dead minutes that you're sitting there. So once you work again, you're back on. So let's just say over a 2-hour period, right, 120 minutes, let's say I work 60 minutes and make $30. So the question to you in that case, if you're sitting out there right now making your calculations, how do you view that? And there's two ways you can view that. And I'll tell you, it tells a lot about how you think about yourself and a lot about how you're approaching your business. One person would answer, say, I made $15 an hour. Why? Because I was available to work. In your mind, you clocked in the moment you got in your car and you went to that parking lot, or you stood there and started waiting. The other person says, I made $30 an hour. Okay? Two different ways of thinking. But it's very important that the person that says I made $15 an hour is the one that I would say is misunderstanding their job, because you are not working during that time. And you are not working when the app is on. You are not working until you hit accept. You only work when you hit accept, when you are on an order. So thereby, your work rate would be, you should be interpreting that number, that's 60 minutes for 120 minutes this way, in my opinion. You should be interpreting it as a 50% work rate, meaning you only worked for 50% of the time you were out over the course of that 2-hour period. Your actual labor time, you made $30 an hour. So your goal at this particular point would need to be to evaluate. First of all, you did a good job selecting orders, right? Because what that means is that you valued your time. So that would be the first assessment you can make out of that. The second one would be is, why did I only get an hour worth of work? Why was I only able to work 50% of the time? And you can look back and say, was it because it was too busy? Or not busy enough, I mean? Was it because you weren't busy enough? What, were you not selected enough? Are you, and it's going to tell you a lot. And you're going to have to continue to test that. If you want to evaluate it, when you're looking at this, is how many apps am I working during that period of time? And if you're only working one app, if you're only working two apps, consider adding additional apps. And by doing so, and by multi-apping, you may end up increasing the opportunities in your market by adding multiple apps. And that would be a sign that if you have 2 dead hours and you're making great money, you now know that I can go out for 4 hours and know that the app you were working has covered me for 2, that I can at least generate $60 an hour or $60 from this app. So figure out how you can work more of the next 2 hours, and perhaps maybe you want it to make $100. Well, now if you can find other apps, whether it's shopping apps, whether it's maybe other food delivery apps, package delivery, there's numerous other types of gig work that you can do that you can then take to fill that time with, hoping to fill it with whatever it is you need, whatever goal you want to set for yourself. But the more you can do that, the more you can increase your work rate, the more money you're going to make. So the way you have to think about work rate is, first you need to be aware of it. You need to be aware of why you're not earning. Follow and keep track of your work rate and how to close that gap, how to close the gap between the time available and the time you work. That is the ultimate battle for every gig worker out here and that should be the focus of your energy, of your thoughts, of what you're doing, of your analysis when you're out here working. How can I close that gap? If one app won't do it, if one app can't provide me with order volume at a good enough value for the time I'm out, what other apps do you need to add to do so? If you understand this, if you can grasp this, if you can start to work towards this, this is going to unlock for you the keys to success, and it's going to allow you to go out and be more successful, make more money, and ensure that you're doing the things that are going to increase your earnings and solve the problems that you're having out there, which more likely than not is being caused by a low work rate and either not having enough apps, either working the wrong times of day, or maybe just not having a market that supports full-time work. So thereby you may need to adjust things, or adjust how you're going to earn, or how much you can depend on gig apps for earning. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, stay safe, stay profitable, and I'll talk to you soon.